Hey, 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 it is Friday, September 13th, 2024. I am Brandon Bleasel. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective of small business owners, in particular martial arts school owners, try to figure out this thing called life, right? We choose to be small business owners because we want to cultivate our own wealth. We want to determine our own future. We want to make our own choices. And that's a very complicated mix. But I know once I understand my purpose, I understand my why, I get what it is I'm here to do, I can create an action plan and gather the right information to create my version of success. And that's what we do for you here every week on Success Never Sleeps. We bring topics, I philosophize, I share strategies on how we can best achieve that. But like I say to all my clients, and I'll say to you, at the end of the day, don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody. Figure it out for your own darn self. And that's really powerful because through that process of trial and error, through that process of making mistakes, falling down, getting up, I become empowered. I learn to trust my own choices. And that's really what this is all about. If all you're going to do is take other people's information, if all you're going to do is spend your resources on consultant after consultant after consultant or mastermind group to help you figure it out, then you will never feel the power that comes with, oops, sorry, I made a mistake. And then you turn around and figure it out. I can't tell you how much that's helped me cultivate common sense throughout my lifetime, help me not be a victim mindset, but be of an accountable. This is my race, my space. This is my choice. Win, lose, or draw, in the words of Frank Sinatra, I did it my way. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. And as we do so, if you come aboard, say hello, tell us we're here, tell us who you are, tell us who you are, and we would appreciate giving you a shout out to Sa, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and now Kin Creative, all different groups and services that I use in my business to help me create the freedom that I deserve and to create the impact that the community deserves and to provide for my team. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with a team. And all these different people here from Gunny at Tusaw, Stephen Reinstein and his team at Market Muscles, Tulay, and his group at My Studio, Letitia and the gang over at Kids Love Life Skills, Letitia at LC Accounting, and Adam and the boys at Kin Creative. If you don't know of these services, at least do your research, check them out. I believe they can help you achieve your version of success. We have a great event coming up November 9th through 13th. It's Time Life Purpose. We only have, I think, 8 spots left for the 4-day experience, which I think makes it unlike anything in the martial arts industry. Do get signed up for that now, right now. Go ahead and put the link in there, Marco. And we have 1 and 2 days. We have the 1 and 2 days as well, but it's ideally the 4-day, I think, that makes it very unique for our industry, something very special. And it's one I highly recommend that you get signed up for. So as you're coming aboard, say hi, hi, and hi. My weeks are filled with Zoom calls. My weeks are filled with talking with people in different industries and businesses, and I try to figure out some days who I would say I am like. We've all watched Pulp Fiction, right? Marco's a big movie guy. We've all seen Pulp Fiction, right? And in Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel plays a character. They call him the Wolf. Fundamentally, Samuel Jackson and John Travolta's character accidentally blow the head off this guy in the back of the car. So they drive to their buddy's house. Hey, Brooke, what's happening, Brooke? So they drive to a buddy's house, and of course, they call in the wolf. And the wolf comes in and figures out, and cleans up the mess, and comes up with a solution to make things tight and right. That's what I do. If I had to say some days who I feel just like him. I come into your business, I help you figure it out to make stuff happen. And I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that common sense is not so common. A lot of the solutions I cultivate are really that gut instinct, 62 years of life experience, 35 years of running small businesses to help you find a solution. And what's the point of all that? The point is that I believe every one of us should learn to fish if you own a small business. Not give you a fish, learn to fish. The empowerment that comes with that is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But in the martial arts industry in particular, we get in the lineup as a white belt. You know, you want to appease your instructor. You're happy to kick, punch, push ups, do whatever he says. You might earn a black belt, and then, you know, you work in the school for free teaching lessons, and he's going to charge you for it and call it a mastermind program, a master's club, on and on. And that's all cool. But at some point, even though I wear a white belt every day, so I'm a consummate learner, right? I'm the leader of the band. I'm the lead singer. I'm the captain of the ship. Make no mistake. And that for me allows me to make choices. But as long as you forever want to stand in that lineup safely, right, and be that white belt, so you don't have to take accountability or responsibility, right? You can always point fingers at the instructor, the leader of the band, then you'll never get to the skill set you need to be successful in your business. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. Doesn't define who I am. Mistakes are part of the course. As I share with my son who loves basketball, Steph Curry makes what, 43% of his shots? So the other 57% of the time he misses. So it's the same thing here. You are going to miss, you are going to fail, but have the courage to make those choices on your own. Have the accountability to live with those choices. Because if you make a mistake, you can pivot, you can adapt, you can do what you need to do to change that and become successful. You with me? All right. So what are we talking about today? You know, I posted about the hotly debated topic of belt testing and how do you work with that, ranking systems and all that stuff. And the diverse answers I received were phenomenal. It was such an open ended question. And one person said it's not belt testing, it's obsolete styles. He named Taekwondo, he named Kempo karate, he named something else that their styles are obsolete. And what that had to do with bell testing, I'm not 100% sure yet, but he says those type of styles are too rehearsed and their dance steps sort of, and that's cool. That's cool. But it went from there all the way to, testing is useless, all the way to I include my bell testing fees, all the way to, you know, it just, there's so many opinions. And are any of them right? To the individual, they're right. Are any of them wrong? I'm sure people will happily raise their hand and say, this is right, this is wrong. But at the end of the day, when I talk about retention based bell testing, write it down because that's the subject today. Retention based bell testing to maximize your profit. Because if I can retain my students and I can get them to bell testing, then I believe I'm going to create a profitable business, right? Because I, as a parent, what do I have to measure this on? Oh, my kid earned a stripe. Rock and roll. He's progressing. Oh, my kid earned a belt. Excellent. It's no different than a report card. It's no different than a progress report. It's no different than an evaluation where you get a bonus at work. Those types of mindsets are norm. And some people eloquently said, well, we don't do bell testing because of A, B, C, D. It's designed for, McDojos and black belt factories simply to make money. Or if you include that bell testing fee into your all-inclusive pricing, you're still charging bell testing. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, again, deciding whether you're going to bell test or not is really what we're discussing first and foremost. Are you going to do bell testing or not? Up to you. If you are going to do bell testing, then stay with me today. Okay, so think about that for a moment. If you had to put in the comments, and as you come aboard, say hi and put it in the comments. What do you believe the purpose of bell testing is in your culture? Go. I'm eating a little snack because I've been on Zoom calls all morning. Go. What do you got for me? For me, first and foremost, I think it shows a sense of progress which human beings need. It shows a sense of recognition, which every human being needs. It offers the duress and stress of an elevated environment versus regular class, which I think every human needs to grow. Um, I don't think testing's a bad thing, and maybe that's why the college system is bringing back SATs, right? They got rid of them, but guess what? I think in the next couple of years, every college, some colleges are asking for it again already, but it's going to become mandatory again. Why? Why? Because a way of being able to judge you and equate where you are is super important. Now, do I believe practicals are very important in med school? Heck yeah, they are, because I don't want anybody operating on me that can't prove through a practical testing that they can do this operation, right? Right? So I believe testing serves its purpose to someone. Hey, what's up, Gage? I love that name, Gage. A goal for students to work towards, an opportunity to overcome performance anxiety. I love that word. May I borrow that? Performance anxiety, Gage. And an event for families to celebrate their student. Absolutely. I think those are all great reasons. And if you live with those reasons, Gage, then I believe you're going to, I mean, those are all great points. You will create your own version of retention based testing. I think people when I posted the show retention based testing for maximum profit, they thought right away, oh, McDojo, time based testing, you're going to push everybody through the pipeline so you make more money. Please be clear about this. I do not charge a belt testing fee. I do not. And whatever we've worked into our tuition at this point has been way absorbed. So when we're producing this beautiful black plaque, I mean, this nice wooden plaque with a certificate, they get an embroidered black belt, and I'm paying a team to administer testing for 4 hours. No, no, financially, if you want to, we lose money on the financial side of belt testing. But what we gain in goodwill, what we gain in that relationship is phenomenal. And if we're always committed to that, ours is live your best life. That's our purpose. That's my why. It gets better. Like, for example, in our last belt testing, my daughter was testing. So, we've already worked it out during the pandemic to have the parents award the certificate and belt, right? Because we couldn't get that close to the kids. So it just made sense in the parking lot doing a black belt test wearing masks to let the parent promote the child. Well, guess what else happened at this black belt testing? I personally said something about my daughter and her journey. So guess what we added in? Which we'll always keep in now. Not only would the parents are going to award their black belt certificate and belt, they're going to say something. And I cried because it was my daughter. I would say 70% of the parents in that room cried. So if I could ask you to add anything right now, allow the parent to award the belt and certificate and allow the parent the opportunity to say something about their child. We'll never go back on that one. It took a little time because it was like 15 people testing, but what a magic moment for those parents to stand up there and say what they wanted to say. It was so, so cool. So, again, our commitment to our purpose of live your best life is why we're constantly bettering this process. And it's much like your curriculum or your school itself. If I'm bettering my curriculum, is that a great retention tool for my year 3, year 4 students? Absolutely. Will it reduce the attrition rate at year 1? Absolutely. So that commitment to constantly review your curriculum is huge for us. To constantly better the pay scale for our team and the work conditions and know to honor their life outside of our business and create this company people want to work for is why the average instructor has been with me for 13 years or longer now. I will happily pay them more money because to have a professional like that, where I can say this person's been instructing for 15 years and this is their career, this is their life. Not only will people pay top dollar, but retention wise, they're getting the best I can offer from instructors. You with me? So, that mindset, I love it, Gage. That's really good stuff. What does Karth have to say about that? Hi from Miss Monique. Hi, Carter. Purpose of bell testing is to promote progression, dedication, and hard work. It is. People love to be acknowledged. Think of humanism. I'm a huge advocate and student of humanism. Humanism. People love to be acknowledged. People love to be put under pressure and to overcome obstacles. And then they love the reward that comes with at the end. Why do we have the Olympics and someone gets a gold medal and they stand up on the platform and you play the national anthem? Now, someone says, well, it's only a yellow belt. It's not the Olympics. Well, I agree with that too. That's why we do very simple belt testings in a month of makeup stripes review and testing. And I'll go through that in a moment. But yeah, the simple acknowledgement of handing somebody a belt, and it has its moments. It just does. And I think they're important, but the balance of not celebrating mediocrity. I'm not into time-based testing because if the student can't perform something adequately, I think it's a miss. It's a huge miss. They have this perception that their level of excellence is a level that can compete in today's world. I'm trying to say this more diplomatically, but there is a certain gauge. There's a certain gauge to be a doctor. You can't ask them to dumb it down, because if you're going to do open heart surgery, there has to be a standard. There's got to be a standard, right? And that's why SATs are coming back. There's got to be a standard because if there's not an SAT score that's going to help me get into Harvard, then anybody can apply for Harvard. Anybody can get in. That's why I noticed because we had somebody come in to talk about the college application process, that college applications have like quadrupled since the pandemic. They're at an all-time high because I don't need SATs. SATs change the playing field completely. You don't get this certain score on SAT, you can't apply to Harvard. You can't apply to MIT. So now, again, I think they're also recognizing that. So implementing SATs again help raise that standard. So some type of testing will always be there. You're a lawyer, you got to take the bar exam, right? There's that type of practice. Even if you want to be an esthetician, right? And tattoo eyebrows, you have to take a test because you have to be able to perform under pressure a certain level of proficiency that helps support that. Now, the yin to the yang of that, I posted my black belt test. You can watch it. It's at YouTube, Professor Belisa's black belt test. But one of the things my father did in that test is you gripped each other, not by the throat, by the windpipe, and you squeezed until somebody gave up. That's, if you think of it on all medical terms, it's extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. So I believe testing should be challenging. It should push a person to their limits. But when it just becomes debilitating and it becomes, this distorted thing that it's not healthy, we have to visit some of those tactics. And I took that out. We had to break boards with our head. I took that out because your brain should not be sloshing up against the side of your skull. Another one we did in my black belt test, my dad would take a regular brick, shave it down to a tip, and then you balance yourself on your knuckle, like a tripod, doing these knuckle push-ups on a pointed brick. Go figure. It is what it is. But I think what I did get out of all that was creating a testing condition that helps the student understand they're so much more capable of what they can even imagine. And I think that's, for me, other than the standard that belt testing should offer. When that kid is amazed and surprised with themselves that, wow, I did that. It opens the potential of I can do anything, right? It just does. But again, I did this one testing where I was a speaker and these black belts could not even throw a proper front kick. I kid you not. Their front kick, I would even call it a yellow belt level. And people were applauding like they just came up with a cure for cancer. And I was very challenged by that because I felt like I was the only one in the room because I wasn't part of the culture that understood by any given standard that is not even remotely a front kick. So again, what is that balance? And only you, as the architect of your business, can make that decision. But if you make that decision based upon that clear why, I believe you can cultivate an experience that's challenging, that really raises the bar and helps that student see how much more they're capable of, which opens the door to, you know, tapping into that unlimited potential. There's got to be that. There's got to be that. Cool. What does Karth have to say? Yes to standards. Belt testing is an assessment of your progress. It's also a time award and recognition. Yeah, you just did that big testing, Karth, right, with the fasting and all that, correct? Or was that you who did that? I saw someone just do a testing, it just blew my mind. Anytime we can be better or be challenged to be better than a regular class or be better than just lying in front of the TV watching reruns of Games of Thrones. Anytime we put ourselves in a situation to be pleasantly surprised, it's a good day. It's a good day. That's how we grow. Yes, to standards. I give progress reports before testing. Yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. And see, you have a system, Karth. Progress report and for December, then October will be feedback to the September report. I love it. Because any regular school system has progress reports. They have quarterly report cards. They have end of the semester report cards. They have finals. I mean, it's always going to be there. But again, making it age appropriate, skill level appropriate while raising the bar, I think is important. The last black belt test we gave, it takes about 4 years to get a black belt in our school. Most kids there had been there 6 to 8 years because we have a high standard. And we're not, somebody said, well, look at Harvard. People who go to Harvard, it's like a 95% graduation rate. You know what? If I make it into Harvard, odds are I'm not flunking out. That's simply not going to happen, right? And I'm a full grown adult. You're talking about a 6-year-old kid, right? Who's going to what potentially test for black belt when they're 11 or 12 if you push it out. You want to be mindful of that. What does that look like and what does that mean? And if you can take the belt testing fee off the table, and as I share at this point, testing costs us more money than what we spend on belts and payroll and certificate at this point. But again, I think it's a huge retention. Huge retention. And again, we just worked in a belt fee into our tuition many, many years ago. And then we have a 5% tuition increase every year. So I believe the costs are being covered, but it's no longer that thing that we nickel and dime people, right? I think that's a huge thing and it works really well here. Like somebody said in California, we just roll the belt testing fees into our tuitions and it's an all-inclusive thing, right? Yeah, I know it. When I go on an all-inclusive cruise or resort, the only thing I'm getting my food for free? Of course I'm not. I know that. I know that. But if you visually put it in my face every so many months, here's a form, belt testing fee, belt testing fee, belt testing fee, that can create the image that we nickel and dime people. Okay. Hey, James, what's happening? Mike Oliver, what's happening, sir? How are you? How are you? So let's kind of break it down for us. Here's some of the things that have evolved. And again, nothing's written in stone. Do it any way you want. So, first of all, we recognized with belt testing, I'm going to borrow from Karth for a minute, is that we need to show a clear, precise path to this parent, right? And the student. Because if I'm coming to your school not knowing what's going on, not knowing how I'm going to progress, not knowing any of that, then I put myself in a position to lose students. Okay. And that's what I mean by retention based communication, clarity, clear path to success. All those help with retention. So, our system, we were working with a rotating curriculum, but for any given 3 month cycle, we have 6 stripes. Okay. Now, some weeks are some months are 5 weeks long, but that's okay. So, in a 3 month period, roughly 6 stripes, we function on there is a learn week where you learn and then we drill, and there is an earn week. Okay. Very clear. You walk into our schools right now, it says orange stripe 2 learn week. There's a different stripe for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Nonetheless, everybody in whatever level they're in, they're working on their orange stripe 2 learn week. Okay. Mom comes up to one of my 17-year-old assistants. My child didn't earn their stripe this week. How come? Oh, man, because it is Orange Stripe 2 Learn Week. Great. It's in the newsletter. It's posted up on our big Market Muscles monitor. So everybody knows it's Learn Week. And then next week will be Earn Week. Now, so they're earning 2 stripes a month. So what are the downfalls there of them not earning stripes? Well, number one, they miss classes. So we offer a makeup class policy. Number two, The information's coming really fast and they don't quite get it. We have great curriculum videos which you can view easily and conveniently through the apps. But I use the word instructional video. Too many people will send me their instructional videos and I'll tell them this is not an instructional video. It is a demo video. Well, that's what they have to do to earn the stripe. I understand that. So that should be at the end of any given Stripe curriculum video. But the first part of that curriculum video should be, I've already taught this to you in class. Here's the fine points that everybody's missing. And then at the end of that video, here's performance level, the way you need to do it to earn your Stripe. Last, we have a Makeup Stripe workshop at the end of every month because it's really bad for retention. If I come into month 4, everybody has 6 stripes and I have 1, right? In an ideal world, at the end of a 3-month period, everybody in your school has 6 stripes on their belt, 6 different colored stripes. And please don't use electrical tape. That's the worst Disney experience I believe we can offer anybody when we roll out some electrical tape and we start cutting pieces off. Bad day. Bad day. Bad day. We have great stripes at kidslovelifeskills.com. There's a bunch of companies that sell stripes. Please get nice stripes, okay? So, at the end of 3 months, how many stripes do they have? Let's see what Mike has to say. Throw that up there for me. We recently had a meeting with our staff on getting some more consistent standards in our youth curriculum. We had seen our standards slip. Partly, we decided with the awarding of stripes during our rotating curriculum cycles, it was becoming almost automatic. Yeah, you got to be mindful of that, right? We have decided to shift our mindset and give instructors the ability to award stripes during class based on performance. Sure, as long as it doesn't disrupt the flow of class, Mike. We do it at the end of class. But you know what the really shift was? And there's always going to be that one 5-year-old girl that can memorize a whole, pinyan or pumse or kata or form, right? There's always going to be that person. But we found with level 1, if they can follow the instructor and do it well with the instructor, counting and queuing, that's going to be the standard. Of course, year 2, year 3, that's going to change. What was the big thing we found in attrition, which is highest between month 0 and month 18, but we'll just go year 1. Month 0 to month 12, is we were expecting these brand new students to memorize full forms, memorize self-defense techniques, and I don't believe it's mentally possible on the whole. There's always the exception to the rule. So again, that pivot we're moving into where if we're leading them through the curriculum, counting it for them, calling out the moves, and they can demonstrate it proficiently, they will earn that stripe. But that's only with year 1. And what we're starting to see, the effects now, is they're performing better at year 2 and year 3. Yeah, go figure, right? Before you had to be a white belt. In our school, you had to know 3 forms and have them all completely memorized and do them really well. So that's changed, but for the better. Because if we're not designing curriculum and test conditions that are age appropriate, skill level appropriate, then we should be mindful of that, okay? Hey, what's James got to say in there? Hey, we got Jason Smith from Believe Martial Arts, Chipley, Florida, hanging out. Writing systems and lesson plans. 1 system, 1 lesson plan per day. Absolute no excuse. Yeah. I mean, because for me, whether belt testing is like the crowning glory of a great curriculum, is we make our money on the mat. So you should be spending money on curriculum development and staff training. That's it. I mean, because that's the core curriculum. You want to put a bad restaurant out of business? Give them great marketing. If your food sucks, your food sucks. Even worse, you got good food and you got a crappy wait staff. Your instructors don't deliver that food well, you're screwed. So I think for me, they all go hand in hand. And I want to be very mindful of that. So let's continue that process because it all leads up to why our belt testing is so successful. But as I was sharing yesterday in a group call, live your best life is my purpose. So when I'm designing these different systems and methods, they have to empower this team. Here's a classic. Class ends. Instructor walks the child to the edge of the mat. Parent goes, "What should my child practice for the next class?" And you launch into this soliloquy about pinyon, nidan or whatever. And the parent's looking at you like, with their eyes glazed over, like, what the heck? And you really want to get back on the mat to take care of the next class. But when you can say and you empower your team, simply look into the app, click on the books right there. Your child is a level 1 student. Go to level 1. As you see up there, it's Learn Week for Yellow Stripe 1. You with me? So that empowered my team. And it gave the parent a very clear, concise answer so they can be proactive and do what's such an important part of the martial arts, get their child to practice. You with me? Okay. So I just want to share that because all this is leading up to a great bell testing experience. So I'm very clear as a parent. Yeah, Mike, you're right. Communication has been a huge improvement for us as well. Yeah, that communication part. I'm not a parent. I'm a parent. I'm a non-martial artist. So Mike's saying communication has been a huge improvement for us as well. We have a postcard for each curriculum cycle and program. The card has a checklist with the stripe colors of the whole cycle, as well as the life skills that we touch on. At the beginning of the curriculum cycle, we also send out an email with the same content along with the stripe calendar for the whole 3-month cycle. Again, Mike, it's thought out. It's thought out. And that alone is heads and tails above a lot of what's out there. It just simply is. So I want to be really, 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 no, really, really mindful of that. So again, empowering that 17-year-old to be able to do that. Now, you also know in our bell testing cycle, we are paperless. Other than getting it in the newsletter, putting it up on the Market Muscles TV, it hanging on and being announced in class. We are paperless because we don't collect bell testing fees, right? We don't. So we just finished a bell testing cycle and we're starting a new one. First thing they did a mass belt update in Market Muscles. Second thing they're doing is printing all the certificates for December for level 1 students, and we're inventorying belts and ordering them. Next month, we'll be going through year 2 and 3. The third month, we'll be going through anybody that's in year 4, black belt prep, or testing for black belt. So even on the administrative staff, they're not sitting there jamming. I mean, when I hear school owners driving around trying to get belts the day before testing, I don't understand that. I don't understand it. No, I don't understand that. So again, because we're administering belt testing at 2 locations, roughly 850, because the rest are kickboxers, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So I want to make that experience great for the team. So a little bit at a time. And we know level 1 is always going to be the biggest level in our school, so we take care of that first. You with me? All right. So we come up to belt testing. In an ideal world, everybody has 6 stripes on their belt. How do we help mitigate that? Makeup classes if you miss them. Great curriculum videos for you to review, and a makeup work stripe at the end of every month. Those 3 additional components should supply you with whatever unpredictable things happen in life to make sure that you're earning 2 stripes a month. Because again, we want great martial artists. That's important too. You can't live your best life if you're living this facade or this fraud that you're a great martial artist when you're not doing any of the work. And I'm simply pushing you through the pipeline because I need the revenue from belt testing fees. And if I have 50% people not testing, well, I can't lose that revenue. So again, eliminating belt testing made a huge difference for me, the fee of it. So now here we come into review month. Now, for us, stay with me. For us, do you do your makeup stripe workshops once a month? Yes, on Saturdays. Yes, sir, Mike. Just, yeah, absolutely, sir. Yeah. They finish teaching classes at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And instead of breaking for lunch, because it's only a 4-hour morning anyways, they teach straight through and they're done with their day. So then we do a makeup stripe workshop from 1 to 2 o'clock, I believe, 1 to 2:30. And, honestly, it's mainly the lower belts that need that extra workshop. They're not earning their stripes on time. They're not. So we're coming into belt testing month now. 6 stripes on your belt. We're going to stay with that in an ideal world, okay? But we do a whole month, and people go, a whole month? That's too long. Stay with me now. Of makeup stripe, belt testing, and review. That's what we call it. All of that's happening at the same time. You're reviewing it, right? You're doing makeup stripes, and you're being tested. So, strategically, we do a 3-month cycle. Then the 4th month is April. Right away, you lose a week for spring break. That's a given, right? So you're not getting a full month of makeup stripe and testing. Also, their B day is sparring. So if you're a twice a week student, Monday you do curriculum, Wednesday you spar. So now what are we really looking at? 3 classes, maybe 45-minute classes to cover what? 6 stripes? And in that, we're doing makeup stripes, reviewing, testing people, awarding belts. All of that's happening. So it's not a full month. But with as many students as we have, this fits really well. When does the next cycle happen? August. Oh, people are busy. Last minute vacations, back to school, right? So again, you're going to get maybe, 3 to 4 classes out of anybody to do makeup stripes review and testing. And then the next one is what? December. We're closed for a week in December. Plus, it's the holidays. So again, it works really well because humanism, going back to humanism, everybody's working with the school schedule. And if you can coordinate your curriculum with the elementary school schedule that the kids are working with or middle school, you're going to be in great shape because organically things are going to fall into place in relationship to that. Everybody with me? I hope you are. And if you just came aboard, say hello, tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from. Now, remember, all these belts were prepared. And we used to put the belts on the kids physically ourselves. That became way time consuming if you have a class where 20 kids are getting promoted at the end of class, right? So TJ came up with this idea. Why not make it like the old school high school diploma? Remember, they used to have high school diplomas rolled up with a ribbon on it? Well, we take the belt, we wrap the certificate around the belt, and we even use white rubber bands because our certificates, they're pretty much white. And so that works out really, really well. And all we need is that picture, shaking the kid's hand, handing them the belt. Parents can take a picture, we can take a picture or send it to the parent. So that experience is even more streamlined. But remember, all those are ready, right? We have all that stuff is ready. So what I find that makes it so phenomenal for us, because we're paperless. Remember, we're paperless. We're all walking around with Sharpies. And if we believe, right? We believe they did very well, we'll sign that stripe. And it's more like Mike with the stripes. We're walking around class, testing them again and again, signing stripes as we go along because it makes more sense and inspires the other kids to try harder, right? If they see Johnny just got a stripe signed, then I'm going to work harder. And Johnny's a great example of what that stripe needs to look like per se. So again, great tool. We can look at any child's belt when they walk into class of week 2 of review makeup stripe and belt testing or week 3, and we can see that belt and look at the number of signatures on it. And if 5 out of 6 stripes are signed and you come into class that day, I can guarantee you, you're going to be a new belt. You're going to get promoted to your new rank by the end of class. So while we're taking attendance as they come through the door, we're pulling belts. Because the worst thing you could do at the end of class is be scrambling for belts, looking for certificates, all of that. So again, to help my team live their best life, this system, the way it's designed, was created. Also, stay with me. I'm a parent. I share with you. Do you have any idea when my child will be finished with belt testing? Because I want their grandparents to come in. Oh, you do? Okay. Well, let me look at their belt. Ah, I see they have 4 stripes signed. Next week, on Monday, in their 5 o'clock class, we'll be covering those 2 stripes. And I know if you choose to practice over the weekend with level 1, red stripe 5, and brown stripe 6, we will be able to finish their belt testing next Monday. So I can confidently say, invite their grandparents to class. Again, humanism. We get that question all the time. So to be able to look at a child and say, hey, you got these 4 stripes signed, only practice these 2 stripes. Time management wise, makes a lot of sense. Parent wise, I can invite grandma and grandpa. Progress wise, my child hasn't finished belt testing. Well, we do makeup stripes review and testing for a whole month. Oh, okay. Is that why they haven't earned any new stripes this month? Yes, because they already had 6 stripes for the 3-month cycle completed coming into belt testing. So what's needed now is that we review them, they demonstrate it at performance level, and we sign off on that stripe. So the storytelling that goes into that needs to be there. And I'm actually working on that now. So when you sign up as a white belt, it lets them know, each week your child will learn something new. They need to go home and practice with the curriculum videos. Here's the link. And then they come back the following week and they earn that stripe. Structurally, we call it a learn to earn system. We use it in Kids Love Life Skills with our merit badge program and the student parent discovery sheets and the life talks, but it's also a philosophy of our culture. My book was called what? Live, Learn, and Grow. I'm only living it if I'm learning. I'm only learning, I will grow. So it's the same thing here. So see that philosophy, all that live your best life, we even weave that into something as basic as that. But the reason I keep coming back to that, and I feel so strongly about that, is because if I do everything from purpose, my odds of being successful have increased dramatically. My odds of not wasting time have increased dramatically. My odds of being more impactful to the community that we serve and is more impactful. Cool? So again, we're paperless. So the guys are walking around with the Sharpies and they're signing belt stripes. They can communicate with any parent at any given moment. Of course, this last cycle with all the vacations, I had a kid come back, and this is designed by design. Stay with me now. The curriculum we do from January to March is a more simplified, no, March, April, May, and June. The curriculum we do in April, May, and June has more simplified than any other 3-month cycle. Why? Because most people are leaving us in June. We're in a very affluent community, and a lot of people take the whole summer off. Okay? The whole summer off. Stay with me. The whole summer off. So, to be able to confidently look at a parent and say, your child has 3 of the 6 stripes. These are the 3 videos I want you to at least have them view over the summer. If you go under events in my studio right now, you can schedule them for makeup stripe workshops. And we have a couple of extra ones in August, well into September, so that we can get those 3 stripes they're missing. And we're going to have an extra testing date in September. And that came to be because humanism. I'm a child. I'm freaked out. I'm going to miss karate all summer, Mom. Then I'm going to fall behind. And my friends are going to earn the belts, and I'm not. I don't want to go back to one martial arts. Very human. So already, before they even leave for the summer, we paint this picture and have a very clear action plan for this parent to be able to implement. You with me? So when that kid's freaking out, oh man, I'm not gonna. I already signed you up for the makeup work stripe, Johnny. And there's extra belt testing dates in September. See? So again, we foresaw that from trial and error and making mistakes to facilitate that. You with me? You with me? So all this is designed. When I talk about retention-based belt testing, does it happen on the actual test date? It's everything leading up to it. Disney and storyboarding, you know me. I love Disney. I love storyboarding. All I did was do what they call the customer journey, in this case, the student, parent, and instructor journey in a 3-month cycle. And what must all of that fulfill that journey? Live your best life. So everything I've created for my instructors is to keep them empowered, to have the right answers for these parents. The parent can conveniently look in the e-newsletter. Oh, you're in Stripe, yellow 1 and orange 2 this month. Oh, look at the TV. They're on, yellow stripe 1 and 2. Oh, look up on the wall there. Says this week they're learning orange stripe 2. It's spelled out so clearly. Oh, I, I picked up my kid because I dropped him off. Mom, I earned my stripe today. Oh yeah, I just saw that in the news. Like you got yellow one. We're in the first 2 weeks of September. That's really cool, buddy. You're right on track. See, all of that communicates visually, auditory. It's all being communicated so that everybody gets where we're at and we're on the same page. And so why do we test in class? Because we our culture is really, really busy, and to ask everybody to come in on a Saturday and test just didn't work for us. We found more, people weren't making the testings, and then we were scrambling to do a makeup test in class and get them done. I can't tell you how often after a testing date on a Saturday, team members are going, "Hey, Johnny showed up. He didn't make the test on Saturday, blah, 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 blah." Oh man, that became a huge, and especially with as many students we have, huge. So we decided we're not going to inconvenience our parents. What we can pretty much bank on is this child is going to make all of their regular classes that month. So it became logical to do a so-called month of makeup stripes review and testing in all the classes. And that's what we really love. And if we finish early in a given month, right, especially with December, we're going to be closed for a week, do something fun, you know? Have some games in place, have a couple of things in place that are out of the ordinary that just really enhance the experience of their martial arts journey. We good? So I want to make sure I leave a little room. I know you have a lot of questions. Go ahead and put your questions in there. And whoever else has came aboard, say hi. Tell me who you are because we love that. Um, Mike, we're still doing a graduation event, but are finding that our student count is approaching 200. That ceremony is taking a long time. If we still want to make time to actually spotlight a child, yep, we're considering doing the awarding of belts during regular class time. Yeah, absolutely. We do a whole month of testing makeup stripes and review because of our numbers, Mike, right? But I highly recommend that. The parents over time, somebody said, my parents were complaining. They liked the pomp and circumstance, right? They liked the pomp and circumstance of a full on belt testing and all that. I said, well, okay, here's one of my stories. I was speaking at a school's graduation up in Sacramento, and I was in awe. It was at a high school, and these bleachers were filled, and all these students, and there was everything from yellow belt testing all the way through black belt. And I'm standing at the side of the bleachers, and I'm overhearing a conversation, and this guy's going, "I don't know how long it's going to take. We've been here for an hour and a half, and all he's done is a kick and a couple punches, and he's still sitting here." And what it was it was a dad whose son was testing for his first belt, yellow belt. And he was not forced, but by default, he had to sit through the black belt slideshow. He had to listen to my freaking talk, you know. And again, he's not really invested in the community yet. He's not really part of it per se. And I believe there's other ways you could help endear them to that culture to get them to believe in your culture than having them sit there unexpectedly for 3 hours because you've rented this gym and hold them hostage all the way through a black belt slideshow and black belt promotion. I don't know any of your black belts. I'm a new dad. My kid's a white belt. I don't want to sit here all day long. And that was pretty much the mood from this guy. So when I left, it really made me think, is that the Disney experience? Is that the best experience? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, Mike, I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised that if you move belt testing conveniently to in class, with the students, that highlight and spotlighting you want to do will happen. Because we're not promoting everybody every class. Some people, because our goal is to get through the 6 stripes within the first 2 weeks, hook or by crook, so we can get everybody promoted. Then we use that last 2 weeks for the stragglers, the majority of some of the makeup stripes who didn't quite earn the makeup stripe because they needed to go practice it, so that's our goal. Hey, what's up, Ralph? Ralph from Excellent Martial Arts in Switzerland. Josh Ramirez. I'm looking forward to you, Josh, coming to It's Time. Josh and Jasmine are be joining us at It's Time Life Purpose for the 4-day experience. And I'm so excited. I did a Zoom with Josh. I want to say Josh and Jazz. And they're just good people. I don't know you guys yet, but I know you got really good hearts. and it's really our commitment. I want to help Josh and Jasmine achieve the level of success that they deserve, right? They deserve. And Ralph, Ralph is my poster boy. Ralph, you are a great example of a great student in learning. I've helped Ralph grow from 60 students to 240, close to, and Ralph's just amazing. He's a good soul. Used to be a mechanic, from what I remember, and I praise you all the time, Ralph. So I thank you for your commitment to what I do as well. You can follow a lot of consultants in the industry. You can do a lot of it, but as I was discussing in a group mentoring call, that you know, at some point, investing in a relationship with one person and going deeper and deeper and deeper has its merits too, such as the average instructor at my school has been there 13 years now, full time. So I pay them a lot of money. I know I do compared to the industry standards, but I'd rather have a guy this is his life and career. Can say I've been teaching 13 years. I've done martial arts since I was 8, step onto that mat. But to get that caliber, you need 401ks, you need vacation with pay, and you need competitive pay. You got to pay them right. You just do. You just do. Right. So, and I've been married 17 years, and I can tell you the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. So, the benefits of being married for 17 years, the longevity of some of my relationships have shown me the value of that. And it's the same thing here, with Ralph. Ralph has invested in me, right? He's employed my services for years now, and he's found trust in that. But more than that, trust is earned through consistency. So you can go to all these different martial arts events, you can have 4 or 5 different consultants, but in the end, I might be a little confusing. At some point, I would pick one of those consultants and work with them and work that out, right? I need information all the time, so I'll go to different events, but ultimately, I have one financial mentor, I have one main instructor, and I have one main guy that I lean into, on business. And that's it. That's it, right? Gage, what are you sharing? What's Gage sharing? And we'll cover Mike's question. We've separated our levels at different testing events, beginner, novice, and advanced. So that way, a white belt who's, yeah, at least that. I love that. Gage, I love it. I love it. Right? That at the minimum, if you still want to do group belt testings in a gym or something like that, don't make the brand new students sit through that. All right. Thank you, Gage. What's Mike saying? The one downside I can see of not doing a shared graduation event is that the students don't get to see examples of what more advanced students programs are doing. Sure, I can hear that too. Maybe we can find other ways to spotlight. Yeah, like every one of those advanced students should be part of your instructors and training experience, sir. Right? And I think it's around the cycle for us, month 9 to 12 in our instructors training experience. You have to be able to step in front of a class, demo a technique at level 10 before we teach it. That's part of our system. We introduce the stripe. Today we're going to learn level 1, yellow stripe 1. Mr. Lee, step up and demonstrate it, sir. And he does it at performance level, right? And if I could, it'd be playing Go Go Power Rangers, right? Some hip music. So that's there too. So I think you can mitigate it that way as well. Or we just finished the Art and Wine Festival, Mike, and we had a demo team. And of course, I front load my demo team with beginners, yellow belts, because those parents are the ones deciding to invest or not. I don't load up my demo team with the best students with the best forms. No way, because I want to show the person in the audience this is accessible. And if I see a brand new yellow belt up there displaying confidence, their technique's not perfect, but that's okay. That's okay. But on the back end of that, do we have our black belts and everything? You know it. You know it, right? So I do believe you can do that other ways, Mike. Absolutely. But again, this is just what works for us. You want to do a hybrid like Gage, I think that's cool too, right? But figure it out. But what is it all based upon? Your purpose. Ours is live your best life. Ours is creating a better testing experience for the kids, which will improve retention. But as I shared at the beginning of this, it begins with the day they walk through the door, all the way through the cycle up until belt testing, all the way to the next cycle, all the way to black belt. We just finished that black belt testing, and last night, parent, handed our admin a $3,000 check. This kid's with us for another year, signed, guaranteed, one more year. He's a black belt. He's he's there. There you go, right? So that's a testament to what we've cultivated over all these years, to why, even after this kid had been there 6 years, they're signing up for another year. But all of it is centered around what? Live your best life. Cool. All right, we got to wrap up the show. We could definitely do a part two on this. I love all the input from everybody today. I think it's been brilliant. I love when people have at least a plan versus no plan. But I hope your commitment to that plan is to constantly tweak it, right? As I said when I spoke at Harvard, get it out is better than get it perfect, right? Run with something, make tweaks, make adjustments. But when you come to me and say, we test the way my dad tested me and the way his teacher tested him and his teacher tested him, as nostalgic as that sounds, I think in some ways it's outmoded. We have to have a balance of the two, right? There's some very good things about old school testing, but gripping each other by the windpipe, as I shared with you in my black belt test, which is at YouTube, is not one of them. It's unsafe. It's simply unsafe and extremely dangerous. So be mindful of that. And are you willing to raise your hand and be the only one in the room to say, you know what? Gripping each other by the windpipes, bad day. Having an 11-year-old kid break a board with his head, bad day. Your brain should not be sloshing up against your skull, bad day. So again, looking at that and knowing that you're making good choices based upon live your best life is how we've gotten to this point. But we're still tweaking our curriculum. We're still tweaking our belt testing process all the time. Why? Because we make the bulk of our revenue from teaching martial arts classes. And as long as I'm committed to that, first and foremost, staff training, paying my team better, creating a company people want to work for, always working on our curriculum, we will never veer to the side of becoming some, weird after school program purely in camp thing. We do day camps, but it will never overshadow our martial arts. We do after school program in one other location, but it will never overshadow the culture of what I believe for us martial arts should be. And that's us. That's us because we are first and foremost martial arts school. And that is what works for us. My question to you is what truly works for you? Cool. So let's thank our sponsors, Marco. Tusa, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All services I use. I'm not simply an influencer for them. I actively use these products, right? So if you're looking for a CRM system, My Studio, website, Market Muscles, character development for kids, kidslovelifeskills.com, bookkeeper, LC Accounting, digital media, Kin Creative, equipment and uniforms, Tucson. All things that help drive our businesses. I want to invite you to It's Time Live Purpose, November 9th through 12th, right here in Millbury, California, 5 minutes from San Francisco Airport. Great lineup. Shannon G. Park is a newcomer. She's into early childhood development for kids, early learning. She's going to be there, of course. The yin to the yang is Dave Kovar, the instructors of instructors. He's going to handle the on-the-mat training. So we teach better. Adam Lodi of Kin Creative, another newcomer, but doing very innovative things in digital media. And of course, wealth building. You can't make money and not turn it into passive income, right? Sam On will be there. And of course, yours truly. I do pride myself on being very good at what I do. 35 years of owning small businesses, 25 years of owning martial arts skills, still relevant, still successful because I understand what it takes. I can stand toe to toe with a lawyer. I can stand toe to toe with a marketing company. I can stand toe to toe with a construction guy. I can stand toe to toe with lease negotiations. All those things help me make good decisions as a business owner. And to wear those hats well is really the art of what I try to teach people. So there's only 8 spots left for the 4 days. But if you need to come 1 or 2 days, you can do that. But that 4-day, it's not only, a typical martial arts seminar. It's an opportunity where you can discover your purpose, grow your martial arts business, and transform your life. So I want to thank everybody today because it's about you. The contributions from everybody. Gage, thank you. I haven't had Gage on one of the shows, I don't believe. Maybe you just listen to the show. Great input, Gage. I love it. I love it. Mike, same thing. Mike's not normally on the show, but I love that you're here, right? There's not my way or your way. There's not the way. There's a lot of ways to be successful. And when you have a genuine conviction of a purpose that serves community and gives back and impacts lives, I don't believe you're going to go wrong. I just don't believe you're going to go wrong. But if I live from ego and I dictate and I demand, I'm going to lose. In the words of Disney, one of his standard go-tos is, what do you think? I ask my team all the time. They ask me a question. I say, well, what do you think? I learned that in a Disney business class. They go, well, if I knew the answer, I wouldn't be asking you. Well, there's an answer in there. Tell me what you think, right? I'm sitting there trying to make a decision with my lawyer. I asked him, what do you think? Right? What do you think? So that humility to say, what do you think? I think is why Disney built an empire. And it's very powerful. So continue down that path. Really good stuff, Gage. Thank you, Ralph. I love you, my brother from Switzerland. Mike, Miss Monique, Jason, everybody and those who didn't say hi. It's okay. People reach out to me, go, I've been following you for years. Why'd you ever say hi? Why did you say hi? Because I love to know who I'm hanging out with. I love to know, who we're trying to build this thing called life together with. So I hope you come to It's Time Life Purpose. If you can't, take a look at our It's Time group mentoring. I've assembled a really good group of people. It's affordable. We're in your back pocket. We're constantly working on your business with you. So me and Monique and Marco and Jason, what I think we're doing is very unique and it's affordable, and we designed it for that. But these are 3 people I love who worked with me in my programs, who bring a unique skill set to the table, and we can really help you. Talk to the people that are using our mentoring. I think it's a powerful, powerful way to grow your school in a supportive, nurturing environment where it's about respect and trust, but we will help share with you what is needed to grow the business versus telling you what you want to hear. Cool? All right. My name is Brandon Beliso. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the episodes of Success Never Sleeps are there, as well as lots of learning. Do subscribe to my podcast, Apple, Spotify, Heart Radio. Listen to the podcast. There's always great information there. Please follow me at Instagram. Join our Disruptor group. The files alone in Disruptor group are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. How to write systems, how to grow your school. They're there. They're there. For everything else, go to BrandonBeliso.com. This is Success Never Sleeps. I am who? Brandon Beliso. Until we talk again, what are you going to go out there and do? Live your best life.